Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's great to see you here again. And we very recently looked at the studio series Shatter. And I compared her with this guy. It is the helicopter version of Dropkick. And I like this guy, even though a lot of people give this dude a lot of flack and make the argument that there's way too much gray and not nearly enough blue on him. I get it, man. I get it. But I like them all the same. Nevertheless, it only seems fitting that we now take a look at this guy. It is the new iteration of Dropkick in his car mode. Which one is better, helicopter or car? Well, we're about to find out when we look at this guy and compare it to this guy in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. I so very much appreciate you dropping by and giving me some of your time. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, man, that's right, hit that notification bell, please, because it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man and the Everything Factor, the Autobot Family, Transformers Collectors NL, and have a look for me everywhere across social media. And we have two Dropkicks here. This guy we already reviewed, but we're going to use him as a point of reference for this guy. And we're going to see which one kind of represents the character of Dropkick better. I liked this guy, so this one had a lot to live up to. How good of a job does he do at living up to my expectations and yours? Well, you know what? Let's head over to the table and take a look at this guy. Or these guys, maybe in this case. And so yes, here of course we have the new Studio Series 46 Dropkick. It is Dropkick in his car form, and as we well know, we're going to be comparing him to his helicopter, and I suppose while we're at it, we might as well show him off with Shatter. But before we can get to any of that, let's look at the packaging first. And this is fine packaging. It has Dropkick here. You will notice that they have sort of stylized the artwork. I mean, he doesn't have his like helicopter bits on him. Nice look at the face sculpt over here. Nice overall image over here. Again, a little bit stylized. Product images on the back. Of course, inside this we have the display stand that depicts the arrival of Dropkick and Shatter on Earth. It's that, what was it, motel, gas station? I don't even remember what it was. And some people said, hey GotBot, you didn't show the display stand that came with Shatter when you looked at her recently. It's because here's the display stand and here's Shatter. Do you notice something familiar between the two? That's right, they're the exact same scene, so I only needed to show it once. Moving on. And when we look at both of these characters in their robot modes, I feel like this is a good display. I feel like you know, you look at this iteration of Dropkick and he looks big and bulky and burly. It's a better display than Shatter next to the helicopter iteration of Dropkick. I feel like the helicopter iteration of Dropkick, while an excellent mold, and I think that for Drift, it works even better. Like the remolding, I think is fantastic for Drift for a helicopter mode. I don't know how well it really fits Dropkick because it seems a little too slender for the guy. If you compare both Dropkicks, I gotta believe that the one that turns into a car better embodies the character. Neither are perfect, but I feel like I look at the car iteration and think, yeah, that looks like Dropkick more than I do when I look at the helicopter iteration. Plus, the head sculpt on the car is leaps and bounds better. Trying to come in closer here to look at the head sculpt. The detailing on the car one is better. The red eyes pop more. It's just overall, it embodies Dropkick way better. Our new car Dropkick also comes with this blaster. It's the thing that makes human beings go pop. And you'll notice that we have a little notch, like right there. That's how it will fit on over his like bumper, basically, in vehicle mode. And in here we actually have another notch, and there's a little rectangular peg on his hand that will slot into that notch. That being said, this is the car version of the thing that makes humans go pop, and this is the like one of the helicopter versions, because it comes with two. I think they're supposed to depict the same sort of weapon, but I don't know. I like the car one better personally. In terms of putting the melee accessory on, you fold in the hand and you get a little rectangular tab like that. You can do it with either hand, it can go on either side. Then you just slot it on over the little rectangular tab. It's a bit of a different connection, but it's quite secure when it's on. Okay, it's time for us to get down to some brass tacks and some grading for this guy. I said that in terms of paint apps on the helicopter one, it was about a 6. There was a lot of gray, probably too much gray, and it seemed too slender. This guy is a better representation. Not perfect, but better. The upper arms should be more of a gray or a silver color. In between the two sections of car on his chest, we should have the cockpit section. And of course, he should, at the very least, have the two rotors of the helicopter down his back. Of course, because he's not actually a triple changer, I can understand why that's not there. It looks more like him, even though it's not perfect. Also, arguably, his lower legs that are kind of black here should probably be a little bit more gray. I'm going to say he is a better representation of the character because he does have a more accurate chest, head, and he has the door wings, and a lot more blue. I'm going to say that he is overall about an 8 for accuracy as compared to the 6 of the helicopter. In terms of articulation, I said that the helicopter was a 9. It didn't have a waist, and I guess it didn't have ankle tilt, and it doesn't have wrist rotation, but it's quite good, especially when you look at the bulk on it and you think, oh, this is going to really hinder articulation. It really doesn't, especially with the legs. This guy, on the other hand, has a head that can go left and right, up and down a little bit. The shoulders are kind of tight, but they can go all the way around. We have an elbow to 90 degrees, we have a bicep swivel. The wrists, I guess, can go in if you want to call that articulation. The arms also go well out to the side, no problems really. Could they go out a bit better? Yeah, I guess, but it's all right. You know, it's not perfect, but it's maybe it is a little bit lacking. I don't know. Maybe it is a little bit lacking. I don't tend to notice it in person as much. Legs well forward. They can go well back. The range there is fairly the same between the two. He can do the splits better than Shatter, but not as good as the helicopter version. We do have a thigh swivel. It's all right. It's built into, it's a mushroom peg into the thigh. We have 90 degrees at the knee, and we have ankles that can go forward and back. Still no waist on this guy. He has all of the movement that the other one has. However, he has a more limited range of motion. So if the other one was a 9, I'm going to say that this guy is about, he's about an 8, 8.5, roughly. Yeah, let's even say 8.5. He's close. He's certainly not bad, but he's not quite as articulated, or at least the range of motion isn't quite as much as the helicopter. And that brings us to the transformation. Just so we're clear, when we got to the transformation with the helicopter version of him, we were scoring a 7.5 overall. With this guy, we're scoring about an 8.25 or so, roughly. We will begin the transformation by removing this piece, and then we're going to straighten out the arms and flip them down. Now, when we flip them down, you will notice that we have 2 hinges here. And of these 2 hinges, they are both pinned. These 2 hinges both need to be down straight in one line, or you're going to have a real problem trying to kind of tab this guy together later. So we bring this side down, same thing, they need to be perfectly straight. And that's kind of where we're to so far with the guy. We can pick up his backpack. We can flip that out, and we can flip this out. And kind of leave the door sort of flail there now. We take this black torso piece, and we bring it down, and we kind of pick up the whole hood section. The head, it needs to go flipped. And you flip it forward. And straighten it all up again. There's the kind of entire back section of the vehicle done. Then we have to deal with the torso. You see, here's what's going to kind of happen. The arms are going to flip down on the side, and these tires up on the shoulders, along with a couple of blue pieces in behind, will become the rest of the fender and front tires up right here. But you need to disengage the body. The body is connected to this black section, which is also part of the hips, and the body itself is blue. And way down inside there's a square hole, and there's a couple of little pegs that peg up into it. To disengage it, I find the best way to do it is to bend the body forward and then pick it up. And that's the best way I can think of to disengage it for you. Once you pick it up, you can bring the arms forward. And when you bring those arms forward, you can flip down these tires, and from the back there's a couple of little blue sections, they're fender sections, bring those out. So once you push everything together, you have a good portion of the car already done. But we're not quite there yet. We will come down and we have to do the lower body. And the lower body, it's not hard, but it is a little bit of a pain. We have to bring this out on the side and bring it out and rotate it all the way down. So you fold out that piece of the back fender, you pull it out, and you rotate it down. Now, after you do that, you need to kind of, by the way, this whole black piece that we brought down, don't do anything with it yet. A lot of people try to push it all the way back. Don't do that. At this point, you have that down. You want to kind of bend the knee forward a bit and bend the foot up. Bend the knee forward a bit and bend the foot up. There is a tab on the back of the thigh that goes up into a slot in the roof section. You're going to have to do that with both legs and tab it into place so that it looks like this. Now at this point, you should notice that we have this tabbed in up here. We have the kind of ankle, I guess, put in behind the back bumper of the car. And we can turn this piece like this. There is a little notch right there on the foot. And on the inside of this wheel, basically, there's a little rectangular slot. If you do not have the two arm pieces perfectly straight here, then the little slot on the inside of this wheel will not reach down far enough to peg over that. It's not a secure connection anyway, but it is definitely what you have to do. Once that's done, you will notice that this and this is tabbed into position. Then we have to deal with the doors. You would like to think that closing the doors is the easy part, but it's really not, at least not on mine. There's a slot here in the thigh, and there's another like horizontal rectangular slot down right there. There's two pegs on the door. It's supposed to slot into both of those and then close nicely. I find I need to close the door and sort of line it up with the rear fender, and then if I'm real lucky, I can close all of it together in one piece. I'll do the same on the other side. Assuming I and you were able to close everything together properly, this is what we end up with. And if you will remember earlier, I pointed out a little notch in this blaster, and I said it goes on over the back bumper. It's not really the bumper, I guess. It's this spoiler section, I suppose. And the instructions do show it, but like, they don't really explain how this fits there. It's like, hey, you're just supposed to know that it's there. And I guess it gives it, I don't know, like a nitro boost or something, I suppose. I like the look of this. It rolls great, other than the fact that we have clear windows here, and I don't really dig the fact that I can see all of the robot bits inside of it. The transformation overall is also about an 8.5. When we compare him and the helicopter overall, the final score for helicopter Dropkick was a 8.5. The final score for this guy is an 8.5 for different reasons. If you're asking me, hey, which one is the better representation of the character? If I'm only going to get one Dropkick, do I go for the helicopter or do I go for the car version? I would say to you that while both are good, for a better embodiment of the character, this would be the Dropkick to go for. And just before we get out of here, because it seemed like the right thing to do, here is one last image of Shatter and Dropkick in their vehicle modes, and I think that they do look like a fantastic duo with these two alt modes, even if neither of the figures is exactly perfect. That being said, the Dropkick is significantly better than Shatter. And here we are once again, and this is a good figure, but there are certain aspects with his conversion that have to be extremely specific, and I tried to show you those aspects as best as I could so that you don't end up getting super frustrated. The doors, it's such a tight like area where they lock in that mine don't lock in well, though I have seen other iterations where other people's do lock in very well. Personally speaking, I like the functionality of the helicopter dropkick better. Aesthetically speaking, I feel like the car dropkick embodies the character more, even though I'd like a mishmash of both of these guys into a proper triple changer. Nevertheless, I don't know. It's like I don't think either is bad. They both have their place and they both represent the character. But I think that if you're looking, like you're thinking about what does dropkick look like, I think that this one, because of all the blue and the better head sculpt, probably ekes out the win in looks. In functionality, I just feel like this one still functions better. Maybe it's just me. Let me know which dropkick is your favorite. You know, I'd love to hear from you guys. What's your experience with this mold and with this mold? Also, I'll say this. This mold, I like it. I don't have the drift that's a reuse and a remold, heavy reuse and remold of this. But I'll say this, I think that it's probably better used for drift than it is for dropkick even. And I like it for dropkick, so it's a pretty fair bet that I would like it for drift as well. Anyway, let me know what you think about these two molds. Which one wins for you? Do you like either of them? Maybe you don't like either of them. You know, I'd love to hear from you guys. I appreciate you dropping by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I know, man, how important it is to you. Again, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. And if you are in a position to help the channel to grow, there's a donate link down in the description. And do not forget, especially do not forget, that each and every day in your own special way, you do indeed make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, man, either in the live streams, at the stop motion premieres, or right here inside the videos.